Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new to the group, each week Molly and I present a word, and that word is designed to be a guide for journaling, meditation, contemplation, and discussion. Now this week's word is criticism. And a lot of times I'm telling you that I really love these words and I'm very excited. Criticism is a word that's a little bit tough for me. So my personality as a green, I'm very sensitive to criticism. I definitely struggled when I was younger at taking it really personally. I wasn't very good at receiving criticism. I wasn't good at that discernment between what is important information that is critical feedback that I need and what's just criticism that I shouldn't be concerned with someone's opinion of me. So I had a really hard time telling the difference between what would be considered critical feedback and what is just criticism of who you are or the choices that you're making. And that dynamic is really tough for my personality. Other personalities, some that I've grown to be very close to in my life, personalities that I understand pretty well in my life, the purple personality and the fuchsia personality, which again, the purple and the fuchsia share that purple nature. So the purple being made of red and blue makes the purple personality, like I've discussed when I was talking about red. And the fuchsia being an offset of that, like I was talking about in the primary, secondary, tertiary thing. So the fuchsia is the purple and red combined makes the fuchsia color. So those purple fuchsia personalities have a lot of similarities. There's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of common traits between them. And one of them that I've noticed is they're really good at that differentiation between criticism that is intended to just judge you or tell you how you should live or what you should be doing, and critical feedback, really important information that's meant to be constructive. And there's a really fine line there, and some personalities are better at discerning the difference than others. And criticism, in some ways, when it is intended as critical feedback, when it is intended as information that they're trying to share with you, someone's trying to share with you to improve you, something like, say you're in a classroom or you're in a job and there's your boss or your teacher is trying to give you critical feedback on something that you're producing, like your product or whatever you're working on. It's important to be able to master that skill of taking that critical feedback, taking what could be considered criticism and learning from that, learning from those suggestions, those recommendations, that direction that your boss or your teacher or someone who you trust, a mentor in your life, is giving you, and really understanding the difference between just criticism about your character or criticism about who you are, how you live your life, that you could potentially ignore or take in, say, okay, is there anything there that I need to learn from? And then say, okay, no, I'm good. No, thank you. Similar to that process that I talk a lot about when you're doing the internal dialogue. So there's things that my mind says to me. There's things that my personality is saying to me internally that I have learned over the years. I don't need to react to every single thing that my mind is triggered by. That if I can take that moment when I'm triggered, look at what my mind is doing, where my behavior is going, stop that automatic response, make a different decision, go in a different direction, look at that situation differently, and build those synapse paths that are not auto responses, that I can live a more organic present life. That's a huge deal. And I think when we're talking about criticism, it's part of that same process, whether it's your internal mind that's critical or an external person that's critical. It is important to look at that feedback, really assess the importance of it. Is there somewhere I can grow from this information, or is this just someone judging me and giving me this negative feedback that isn't really important to me or doesn't have an impact on my life or is more about them than it is about me? So for me, criticism is a very important subject. It's a sensitive subject because it's not always received well. Some personalities have a tendency to provide a lot of criticism, provide a lot of critical feedback, and that can be taken really poorly if it's not presented well. So there's also the side of being the person giving the criticism, giving the critical feedback, and really paying attention to when and how you're doing that. So how are you giving your opinion? How are you giving your feedback? How are you imposing what you think is the right thing to do, or the good thing to do, or the best thing to do in a situation? How are you giving that feedback to someone? Where is that coming from within you? What's the intention there when you're giving criticism? Is it designed to hurt? Is it designed to support someone? Is it designed to better someone? Is there a lot of gray area there? And can it sometimes do both, be hurtful, but also the intention is to help? So there's a lot of gray area in this concept of criticism. And it's important to remember, as we talk about on a lot of different weeks and a lot of different subjects that we've brought up, being kind to yourself, being kind to the people in your life, understanding that everyone's got stuff that they're going through, that no matter what you're going through, your feelings are valid and important, and they're real to you. And we're all growing and learning in this process together. And the more kind, the more compassion, the more understanding we can be, the better off we are in our lives, the more we're modeling that for people, and the better off the people that we're interacting with will be if we have that place of compassion, that place of understanding that everyone's going through something, and a lot of times it's not about you. So I really did spend a lot of time thinking about this word criticism. I'm a little late on my post this week, and I found myself being very internally critical about that, but I do spend a lot of time in my life remembering that some things just happen the way they happen. We can't control everything. We just take the next step and move forward. So that's why I'm here today discussing criticism with you, a few days late, later than normal. So I appreciate you showing up today. I appreciate your presence. I hope you enjoyed my talk on criticism, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.